Shit. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the House of Dragon Game of Thrones Season 1 finale. I am the messenger, Travis Snell, and I'm joined by...
The Dragon Rider, Kirklin.
I'm the debt, Taylor Field.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got... I don't know what I was going to say, but we got lots of stuff going on is what's going to happen. This past weekend, we reviewed Black Adam. Big thank you to everyone to check that out. And then this past week and this other week, just the next few weeks, you're going to get lots of announcements for Extra Life, which is happening November 5th. I'm doing it in a weird way. I don't know why, but I'm doing it, getting up there, up top. Trivia battle people are being announced, other events. This week, too, you're going to announce everybody is going to, for a gauntlet send-off, everyone is picking one rematch they want to have for the last gauntlet match, and you're going to start getting those sprinkled out and everything. Kirklin, I don't know why he looked over here and shot a smile. I don't know what's going on and everything like that, but tune in to find out. And then we're going to be recording a gauntlet special too for patrons, and you get a little preview of it on the main feed. But yeah, lots of big stuff. $3,500 towards BC Children's Hospital. All that money goes towards the parents and kids in need that need surgeries, that need treatment, anything as far as life-threatening, and even just needing help. Like, you can go back and listen to Jessica's story about how BC Children's helped her with one of her children because there was some issues. Oh, luckily, everyone's fine now, but that's what they do. They help people out in need. So it's a good cause, tax deductible, so that helps you at the end of the year. And also, if you can't donate, which we're only asking for, like, even if it's $5, stuff like that, that'd be great. But if you can't, share it throughout the weeks, but especially on November 5th when we're live, share that. The more retweets, the more likes on the YouTube video, the more comments in the live chat, YouTube algorithms pump that up. And we've said before, there's been multiple years now where we've met person for the first day and they've donated or shared the link and everything like that. Like, we were just on Vodka stream this week. That's how we met Dave. He's like, oh, retweet these guys. So that's the thing where it helps a lot. So, and it's just going to be a good show. I promise you. I'm very excited for November 6th because this is the most stressed that I've been. This is the hardest one I've had to work with, especially the trivia battle. There's lots of moving pieces, lots of new people and stuff like that, and the match, and you got just lots of stuff going on, but it's going to be worth it, and I'm excited to rest, but I'm excited for the show because it's always a good time. Taylor, where can they find all that information when we're sharing it and putting it out there?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find that with your internet connection in the search bar. GeekVerse.ca is our home base. GeekVerse is our Twitter. GeekVerse is our Facebook.
I don't like it.
It's getting faster every episode.
It's getting too fast now.
You know what? When we're on the vodka stream, I heard Scott just do his roll.
I was like fast though.
No, it was fast. I was like, he aced. That was aces. I thought I gotta pump up my game here. I'm slacking. So
I still think you're faster than him. We gotta get you to say more things to just meet
that's true.
The recommended time that Travis needs to post.
He says it
Twitter
cleanly
links.
though. I feel
That's
like
why
I'd mess mine
speaking
up.
right now
because you're going too fast. You're going too fast. That's why you're messing it up and everything like that. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, head over to links where everything you need to know is down below. You can check out. We had a very fun time this past weekend with some of the patrons watching 2005's Venom. So that commentary track's on Patreon and the video, so you go look at that. And then, there's lots of stuff up there. Ad-free, exclusive early episodes, good stuff like that. Manscaped, go use the podcast code GVPOD, get 20% off and free worldwide shipping. But yeah, let's get into this. So as honestly, obviously we're gonna start with our non-spoiler thoughts.
I hope we're honest.
Kirklin, give me your lies. What did you think of
lies?
what do you think of the closing episode for season 1 of House Dragon?
I think it was a little bit less intense than what I was expecting, but I think maybe I just was overshooting my expectations on we only have one episode left. Like, how much can we really cover to round off this first season? But I still think it was a great season finale in the sense that it has me super pumped for next season. This is going to be one of those where when we're getting closer, like a month or a couple of weeks away, I'm just going to be so excited for this release. And I remember feeling that in those middle seasons of Game of Thrones. So this show definitely success in my eyes of just reigniting my my love for being back in Westeros and the Seven Kingdoms and all that stuff. So all in all, I'm really impressed with what they've been able to do with this show. Obviously, if you've been listening to our reviews week by week, I definitely have some issues with the show, but all in all, I definitely think it's phenomenal. All of the actors and actresses have been great. Matt Smith is just so fantastic. I'm so glad he's a part of this project, so I can just see him in more things than what I've seen him
good
in.
Stuff, yeah.
Not
Morbius or whatever. So.
Exactly. So all in all, I thought this was really great. Season finale for what the season was, and visual effects phenomenal, the score was phenomenal, and just has me so pumped. I'm sad that I have to wait so long to see what happens next, but was an intense finish.
Chris Balga sharing your sentiment just when I thought I was out of Game of Thrones. They pull me back in. Dang, it feels good. Yeah, I think there's a lot of that sentiment going on with this show. Taylor Field, what do you feel about the finale?
Holy fuck! I was just sidelined every step of the way.
Holy
Like,
shit!
I gotta go.
How do we not have that video queued up? We gotta get.
Yeah,
that
I
one.
should bring that up. I'm sure we get demonetized every time. They're like, use a clip from, but we don't get that for the Batman. So we'll see. Maybe we should. I'll find a way.
It was just absolutely awesome. I loved everything about this finale. The only thing I hated was that it had to end because when things are happening, I kept doing a timestamp check as I was watching the episode. I thought, like, fuck, like I feel like we still got so much we got to do. Like I want more, and it's just we're not getting more. Like it's just such juicy content, and what they're going to get to in season 2 is going to be absolutely incredible. I cannot wait. This episode just blew it out of the water for me. Madison, the whole time, like she was putting the blanket over her head, like she was stressing out, and she was like doing like, "Oh God!" And I was thinking like, "Oh yeah."
What were you doing under that blanket?
Yeah, we weren't really watching House of
Oh
Dragons.
god!
Holy shit.
Holy shit! I'm gonna go.
Oh, but it was absolutely fantastic. I like.
Bet it was.
If you if you're a Game of Thrones fan, House of Dragon fan, like if you have been like off and on about this show and you haven't watched this episode yet, like I guess I don't know. Yeah, shame. I guess I'm biased because like this is probably my favorite show that's been on air. Like clearly this is above Rings of Power for me. This is above like the Marvel stuff, the Star Wars stuff right now. Like this has just been my go-to every Sunday night. I've been so stoked on this, and this finale did not disappoint any shape or form. So I really hope that there are other like-minded individuals out there that are fans that will enjoy this and get to watch this and enjoy it. If not, and you hate the show, it's fucking garbage.
You're
and you know
talking
what?
about
That's
it like
fine.
it's some fucking indie film we're reviewing. It's like the most popular show on TV right now. I think they're doing.
If you haven't heard of House of the Dragon, like go check it out.
Like I think
Episode 10.
I think that everyone shares
Great
that
time to
sentiment.
jump in.
Yeah, like I feel like it's become very much like Game of Thrones again, where the Sundays are big. Like I think that first episode got people like myself back, and then the following weeks were just okay, we're back because it just ended up being so good and everything. So I don't think you gotta worry about that. Would so you put the show above Chucky and Andor as well?
Oh, easily. Yeah, like I really, really like Andor, but this has just been making my heart race in levels that Andor hasn't, maybe yet at least. But
Shit show apparently, says Taylor. But yeah, no, I share most of the same sentiment. Great Kirklin. I just been the lights to come on, you'd be gone. But yeah, I don't have Mr. Jangles. I don't have much more to add that these two said. I think it very much was like I talked about, where the finales are a lot more of the quieter episodes, and this one was, but it was really big quiet shit going on though. Like, and I'd say the last 15 minutes is not quiet, but it's a lot of talking, a lot of conversations, but it was just huge moments, great acting overall. I think this was another great episode by Emma Darcy. I don't know if it's her best, but like it's a contender for one, and I don't say that in a way of like one being weaker than the other. I just say because there's been so many good episodes with her, and I think she was the standout this one. And yeah, it ended in just quite a shocking fashion, but it all makes sense, and the season has been great. And also, wait to our overalls and stuff like that. Time jumps excluded and stuff like that, which I always pick up what's going on. But it's just that there's some moments, especially even with this one. I asked Emily, like, do you think there's gonna be a time jump between season 1 and 2? And there probably is, which is another sad thing. Where it's like, oh, we end on some really good notes that I want to see, like the direct. I want to see the minute follow up after. So I
don't think you get one, to be honest.
I know, and that's what's disappointing. I feel like this show, like, they could have so much other great moments and episodes and conversations that would just, like I said, I always, and here's spoiler for my final score, I won't give this a 10 out of 10 just because there's still stuff like we talked about before, like Viserys and Rhaenyra and Daemon never having that conversation after their marriage. There's so many scenes, and that's what's the only bummer about this, and I'll say that for next year when we get season 2, it's just there's stuff I want the immediate scene after, and we probably won't, but it's still great. The stakes are there. It just feels like every week something big is happening. It does feel like can't miss TV, even though I'm a guy that said before, it's like it's a prequel. We know all these people. We know they die. We know who their grandchildren are, and we know how their grandchildren die. Like, we know their entire story, but This is the perfect example of what people use as an example of, like, it's not about the destination, it's the journey. And this one, it's just we're taking so many right turns. And there's some moments in between too where I was not happy in a good way because the show's writing, but I was like, oh, I really was rooting for this particular person, and now I don't know if I can so much more. So yeah, I think this was just a stellar season of TV. Like I said, I think one time, maybe in a lead up for House of Dragon, we'll do like a Patreon episode or something, because I'd like to compare it to the other season of Game of Thrones. But it might sound bad saying it, but I feel like this is like in the top 3 for, like, if you have House of Dragon, Game of Thrones. I don't know if it's 1 or 2, but it's up there. Like, I think it's as good as some of the best Game of Thrones episodes, like, seasons, and that's saying a lot because that show was fantastic. So, so you're right,
So,
Kirkland.
Yeah. No, I'm just
You
giggling.
disagree with my
just
statement?
having a good time. I finally.
no.
Holy shit, I'm gonna come.
I knew he was up to no good.
I was
I'm happy it's there.
looking.
You're editing this episode, so that
Oh
you
yes,
gotta
I know.
put
It
that
is
in
worth
there,
it. It is worth it. Yeah.
You got my email too? There's an ad
Yes,
we're about to
I
put in right
saw
here.
it.
Yeah. So,
Oh, yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take an ad break, and we'll be right back, jumping in full spoilers. So if you've not seen this episode, run away, come back when you have, and we'll be here. And we're back. So where I want to start is the stuff that I've been struggling with the most with this episode. So obviously, lots of great standoffs and everything like that. They get alerted, hey, shit's gone down in King's Landing. You're not the queen. There's a king. All the update what happened last week, right? Arenas, we're all going to get in that. But there's a moment where now, kind of in the, I'd say like we're 25, 35% of the episode, where it's this discussion of war. Great table. They're going to sell lots of replicas of that table. HBO's going to
man.
make lots of money with, like, they're going to sell so much. But anyway, so this table lights up and everything like that, and they're planning out, mapping it out. And Damon and Rhaenyra are not getting, like, they're not seeing eye to eye on this situation, right? They're having issues, and she tells everyone to leave the room because he's kind of taking charge. You can tell, like, he wants to go to war, and he almost kind of wants to be king a little bit. She tells everyone to clear the room, which is kind of like in a bit emasculating, even though he kind of deserved it. But clearly everyone knows, okay, he's about to get, like, his shit kicked in and everything verbally and stuff like that. Everyone clears the room. They start talking. They're still not seeing eye to eye. And then Damon gets worked up and he starts to choke her. And I hate this because I can no longer be a big fan of David anymore. Because my whole head can't, and I'm not saying this is bad for the show, it just sucks because this does happen in Game of Thrones, but I think there was still some characters, like for me, I never had that moment with Tyrion where there's some questionable stuff, but I never had the moment where, he's just completely a piece of shit. Where Damon, I always thought he did some shitty things, some questionable things, bad choices, but it felt like what we've gone from the show so far is that, when it comes to Rhaenyra, though, that's where it draws the line, right? Like, that's the person that he's going to be the best towards, or he's going to be very loyal to. And I still thought it was a great scene as far as she realizes that Viserys never told him the Song of Fire and Ice. So it shows how much he trusted his daughter, and said Damon was just like, no, duh. Like, why would you fucking tell Damon that? He's always a loose cannon. But this was a disappointing thing for me because, like I said, it made me like Damon less. Where even with his flaws so far, I've always been Team Damon. Now I'm not so much, because now the other thing I feel like with this scene is eventually in the show, if we're getting 3 to 4 seasons, I think these two are going to butt head and go, I don't know, toe to toe, but it's not. My hope was, they're going to reign supreme and run over everybody. This is just to me like the start of some issues they're going to have, because she did not look happy about it. But luckily, or unfortunately, lots of other bad shit happened that made them get interlinked. But the fact that he did choke her, I was like, I'm assuming this is the first time, but I was not a fan of that. Again, not on the show, because that's what Game of Thrones does. I'm not saying it's bad writing, but it just sucked because, like, damn. So I'm not sure how you guys felt about that scene.
I agree. I feel like after last time that we saw these two together, it was after a big time skip, but like Damon was quiet, but I just also took that as like, maybe like they are just settled now in like their relationship, and like they're popping out kids now and just focusing on like their actual mission together more so than just their individual goals. And this episode kind of just showed that we're not past that at all. And as you said, Trev, like it does make sense story wise on like Damon had those traits his whole life. Like, why would he just lose them, in a matter of a couple episodes? So
I thought Rhaenyra hopefully got that out
I know,
of him, but no.
And I'm not gonna like lose hope here. Like, I think there is still a chance that like maybe they will grow stronger together by like having like a single goal. But Damon
He
has
still choked
shown,
her.
yeah, and Damon has shown that he's already like doesn't really care about what she says. Like, he just send the Ravens anyways, or like doesn't really matter. Like, I know that the right decision, and I think he will still be making those choices moving forward. Hopefully a little bit less, and hopefully maybe he goes one step too far, and then Rainier really like fucking like whips him into shape. I'm hoping for that, because I do want them to be like a superpower couple, even though it is still pretty damn weird having a niece and a uncle relationship. But I look past that, and just, they're Targaryens. It is what it is. So yeah, it is unfortunate in that sense, but for the actual like shooting of the shot, it was really well done scene of even just like Rhaenyra's like, and by Rainier I mean like Emma Darcy's like facial reactions to that moment, like really seeing him differently. Like as you said, Travis, like I felt the exact same way with, I think this is the first time that happened, because she just looked like, who the hell are you? Like that had never been something that she had to deal with before.
And see, that's my worry, is because they have the same goal now, but they have the same goal because they were forced, like something, which we're going to get to, something bad happens. She didn't by choice get to the same goal. She's kind of been pushed to that. So that's why I think they'll be united for a little bit, but then in the thick of this war, some choices are going to be made by both of them that push them apart even further. And again, this is a good thing. I don't know. Also, we know that children, where their children go, but I don't know the state of like how they die or what they're not. And that's where I could see their marriage at the end of the day not being they're being married but not together, because they just feel like this is the first sign of trouble, and it's going to get only worse, because I feel like the situation's going to get very intense the next year or so.
Yeah, and I feel like at earlier parts in this season, and by earlier parts I mean just a couple episodes ago, like when they had like a single goal, like that's when they were at the strongest. So now after Lucerys, I think that's his name, after he got
Luke
popped, I'm hoping this will like bring them together again, and then what ensues is just more war, and then that'll just like, they won't have time to really do on their own. But again, that's just my wants, because I want to be able to root for Daemon.
Oh yeah, but these shows, you're gonna get what you don't want.
It's hard to root for the guy that chokes out a woman on screen.
Yeah, I was like,
it's hard to root out for the guy that, like, because not only did he choke a woman, I mean, he smashed his wife's head in with a rock.
That is true. Yeah,
So, I mean,
he's done a lot of bad things.
Yeah,
This show.
I guess you forget it, but that's where I said I wanted Rhaenyra to, like, the buck stops with her. I wanted that to be the one, and that's the thing where I will be interested to see how the show does it, because I thought that was an interesting angle to Daemon. Like, there was that shot I don't think we talked about last week because we didn't see, but when he cut whatever the guy's brother was, the head, there's this shot that I saw on Twitter, people bringing up that before he does it, he looks over like silently to Rhaenyra, and she like gives him the head nod right before he does it. So that's where it's like, my worry is Daemon becomes a little less interesting if Rhaenyra is also like that, where it's just another character he's going to boss and bully around or be bad at. Now, there's a difference because she's going to be the queen and married, but I kind of just found Daemon more interesting, and we'll see what happens, but I just found more interesting of, okay, all these people can't control him, but one can, she can, and stuff like that. And I know it was an intense day, and he's just like supercharged and stuff, which sucks, because think about a few episodes ago when he was like, his first wife was having that baby, and he didn't want to go back to King's Landing at all. It felt like he was like, just kind of like secluded, like he was fine with not being there, and this is what at least to me the subtext was, he didn't want to go back because he almost knew he would become this person again, this like violent, very angry man, and he fell right back into where we started with Daemon in episode 1 and 2 and stuff like that. He's that, and he's gonna be worse because now he has like bunch of power and stuff. So yeah. Taylor, where are you on Daemon and Rhaenyra in that scene?
I mean, with everything that happened, he was just emotionally compromised, and I feel like there was regret in his action, I want to say a little bit too, but like him doing it didn't necessarily surprise me, because everything that we've seen him do, smashing his former wife's skull and letting his second wife die, like he's not been great with his family. So I think he was just told his brother died. He obviously really was emotionally compromised there. He just jumped to the gun to like, oh, they murdered her or murdered him, like, and so it's I'm not saying it's justified to ever do that, but in the world of Game of Thrones, God forbid, in his situation, he felt like he needed to do it, and it didn't surprise me when he did it. So, I thought it was kind of interesting when she kind of like sinisterly laughed when she realized, oh, you don't know about a song ice and fire, when the darkness comes and all that stuff. And
He was so put off. He's like, "What are you talking?"
yeah, he's like, what the fuck? It's like,
Yeah.
it's such a left turn in a conversation.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, it was. And I really liked, because to me, again, that makes sense if Viserys would not tell him, because I just feel like I know it's almost bestowed upon the person that does become king and stuff, but I think she was inferring like, oh, because you're his brother, he still would have told you, but he didn't. And I like that because I think it holds up the honor of the crown, but also just Daemon's a fucking loose cannon who, like, I'm sure that information he would still. I don't know what he would do with the information with Daemon. I really don't. And that's where I think Viserys was right not to tell him, because he probably didn't know what he would do with that information. Is that something that's crazy? Is that something that he would use against, or use that to throw power against Viserys? Who knows, and stuff like that. But yeah, let's talk about the ending there, because that's Kirklin alluded to that. And I feel like we'll be dancing around it the whole time if we don't. So speaking of fire and ice and dancing and shit, so. We haven't seen I guess we saw Baratheon during the hunts, right? We got them there, but we're going back to now it's coming down to seeming like war is going to happen. Rhaenyra has not for sure given the go ahead, but it's like, if it does, let's see who we got. We're going to talk about the Valyrians in a second, but they have this board of like, we're going to talk about Winterfell and all these people who we could do, and there's the Baratheons, and they're like, okay, well, they did swore an oath to me, so go there, just remind them of the oath that they took. I thought this was a bad idea in general, but it happened, and now we see why it was a bad idea. But so the oldest of Rhaenyra's sons with the strong household was going to go to Winterfell, and then Luke was going to the Baratheon. He goes there, lands there. This great scene where he lands with a dragon. The guards aren't really like reacting at all, and like, oh, that's kind of weird, because most people would step back on a dragon. They haven't reacted because earlier in the day they've seen a much bigger dragon, and Aemon is already there, and he has promised him a bunch of stuff, promised such a marriage link, all this stuff, and poor Luke is here just to say, you took an oath once, which again means nothing to any of these people. And they had the scene where Aemon's charged up, fired up. He's saying he wants to fight. Luke's like, no, I don't want to fight. I'm just a messenger and stuff. He's like, well, I don't really want to fight. I just want something from you. He takes his eye, which I have questions about after, but he takes his patch off to show his eye.
I thought it was going to shoot laser beams.
Yeah. He throws a knife at Luke, says he wants an eye. He wants a gift for his mother and stuff like that. Goes poorly. I did like Baratheon being like, hey, this isn't fucking happening here. Like, go do this somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'm not having bloodshed here. So I like that was still...
That was realistic.
He was still picking the side of Aemon and his family, but it's still like, at the end of the day, I don't want to be a part of this. Like, this is... Because this is still this is still the former king's grandson,
and like a war hasn't started yet. Like,
yes.
he would literally just start a war in his hall, and then he would be to blame because he allowed it to happen in
100%.
his hall. And like Rhaenyra was even saying that this guy has like just deep ties to tradition and everything, and like he'll welcome you with open arms. Clearly that didn't happen, but at least he didn't let Aemon slaughter him. Right there.
And then if that didn't happen, so Luke's like, let's get out of here. It's a massive storm, not going well. And long story short, I'm not going to describe it. There's a dragon chase. Now I don't know because the dragons are starting to act out. When they shot fire at the biggest one, like Luke's, I never remember the dragon's name. I know there's like Lox
like
and Arox and
Araxes
Ajax or
yeah.
something. Yeah. But anyway, so Aemon's dragons get shot with fire. Did Luke do that on purpose, or was it?
No, he was shouting out like, "Obey me!"
Yeah.
Like,
okay. Thank you. That's what I thought. So both the dragons are going into business
you,
for
Aemon.
Fuck you, Aemon.
So Luke's dragon turns around, shoots fire into, funny enough, Aemon's dragon's eyes. So, some sort of parallel there.
Got Taylor with that one.
And then Aemon's dragon did not like that, so he turns around and he just eats up. And I was like, oh, maybe he just ate the dragon and Luke's going to fall. But then
That's what Madison said.
Yeah. But
Never
then
saw a body.
Yeah, but then they quick cut, and no, you don't see a body, but you just see shards of clothing and blood fall, and you see Aemon just realizing, like, oh, fuck, like, this is over. And yeah, so we have lost Rhaenyra's second-born. Kirklin, what was going through your mind in that whole scene from when he landed to the unfortunate timing of death? And I guess you can even include Rhaenyra getting the news as well.
This was like a very anxious scene of just him like so first of all, like him getting there, I was like, Travis, I'm like, this is a bad idea.
Terrible
like, this kid
idea.
is like what, like 14, something like that, just going
And he's not
alone.
like an Aemon 14 who's like, I'm fucking ready to go. Like, this guy, he's still very
Aemon's
nervous.
like 35, no less than that age.
Yeah.
He's huge. So yeah, that happens. Terrible idea. And then it's like a fucking Hurricane Katrina going on, and then he gets on his, and like I swear his dragon is like a lot smaller than all the other dragons. So I was just
It's still
like,
a young
man,
dragon, right? Like, it's growing.
like just stay the night. Like just wait for the storm to end. As soon as he flies away, I'm like
He
he's
just
gonna get
sleeps in the
jacked
hall.
up. I was like he's gonna get jacked up by Vagar. So I was surprised multiple times in this scene because I was surprised that he like it just became like a chase and then it was just like a not so fun game of cat and mouse where Eamon's just totally fucking with him. And that was revealed later on that he had no intention to take it that far. He was just totally wanted to fuck with him because at the end of the day, like if he kills him, he does start a war right there. And like
war
he
started
is to
now.
blame.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like before the fact, like he had no intention to kill him. And then so he
Still
like
his
escapes.
fault though. He shouldn't have been doing this shit of like
Oh,
scaring.
absolutely,
Like you can only control the dragon so much as we see, right? So
Yeah, exactly. I hope Rhaenyra blames Baratheon. She should have kept him there.
I still think because he didn't also take the oath too that like Baratheon is going to be in the line of fire, which makes sense because they
He's an
said
oathbreaker.
yeah he's an oathbreaker, but also said that in this episode they were talking about houses like we can never trust the Lannisters and think about in our show Game of Thrones like who eventually links up the Baratheons and the Lannisters, right? That's Cersei and her husband,
Right.
Rams. So it's like that makes sense that eventually they would be on that side because even if they lose this war in this show later on down the line they fucking overtake the crown. Like there's no Targaryens, it's Lannisters and Baratheons that are in the head of the table. So
Yeah. So the whole time that little Luke's flying around, I'm just waiting for like basically the Jaws moment where like Vagar just jacks him up. Like I knew it was coming, but it didn't go the way that I was expecting. So I was like, holy shit! Like he escaped, he got out. He gets up in the clouds after not able to control his dragon. It's like a beautiful shot of just over like the clouds, and you just see like the sky, and it looked gorgeous. And then you get that like, I'm not gonna call it a jump scare, but it's pretty damn close to that, where just big mouth comes up, jacks him up, and like my jaw hit the floor. I feel it's funny because like I said, I was expecting that to happen. And then they saved him, and then they just jacked him up anyways. It was like, god damn, and it's just. I'm sad because I didn't want that to happen, but I'm glad it went the way that it did, that it wasn't just Aemon like straight up murdering him, like it was an accident, because I don't know, it just makes it so much more interesting when it's like a schoolyard fight that just goes too far and like the repercussions that's going to happen now. And that's something that just has me so excited for next season. Like you're talking about like when Rhaenyra gets the news, like just her like facial reaction of this episode and even the last few episodes that she's been in, it seems like she's really been trying to like take her like follow her father's like footsteps and trying to keep the peace and like keep the realm stable. Like she has the most right out of anyone to be pissed off in this episode of like they literally just stole your birthright out from under you because you were just not there, and like from her eyes like they probably murdered her father. Like she doesn't know the whole shebang, and she's still able to hold back. And then like she lost her newborn in this episode, and then at the end she lost her newborn and then still able to like stay calm, and then loses Luke. And just like her face, like I'm terrified for Alicent and Otto Hightower now going into next season. Just like the pure rage in her face, and it's gonna be fiery.
And like I know they're not like fully blood related. Well, they are a little bit. Well, yeah, they're still blood related. You know, good thing Renus didn't take out any of those people last week, hey? Because she lost her fucking nephew and shit like that.
I actually liked her explanation at the start of the episode. I feel like it made a little bit more sense than how I felt at the end of last season, or at the end of last episode, because she didn't want to start the war.
Yeah, but I get it, but now I just don't like it because now she's with that side. So that's where it's just like I liked that explanation was like, hey, I don't want to start war. I'm not. When she said they're not pledging the flag to any house, I'm like, okay, I can kind of get behind this. I still don't fully get it because if people were to say, hey, why did you kill those people? Be like, well, they locked me up in a room and they weren't going to let me leave. I feel like most people are like, yeah, that is kind of fucked up. Like, yeah, they probably would have killed you, and they were going to kill her if she didn't say yes. So that's where I think people would have given them the go ahead. Plus, she's a fucking dragon, and now they have like all these armies and stuff. So I don't think anyone would mess for her. But now, in retrospect, that she's joined back on the team, I was like, because now you lost. Like, obviously, it wasn't her son that was the actual father, but she's still related to Rhaenyra, right? So that's still like her nephew or something like that. Like, there's still blood ties, and again, one of her daughters is going to probably fucking bite it here soon too, because now all these people, like, there's gonna be so much death next I think next season there's gonna be just tons of
just
people.
one episode, all people just dying.
It could be every episode
Red
someone's
Wedding,
going,
episode 1.
someone's gone and stuff like that. But
Yeah. What do you
Taylor,
guys think?
that'd be you, Taylor.
Yo, I didn't know I was picking it up. Yeah, the kid Luke, eh? Holy fuck. Lucas Valerian. So his dragon's name is Arax.
I was
That-
close.
You were very close.
Ajax.
Ajax, yeah. So when they went off, I thought, okay, this is great. Like, I can't wait. We're gonna see Winterfell. I can't wait to see all this shit. But no, we got to unfortunately follow Lucerys, which is fine. I feel for the chap, but he brave kid. I thought his dragon was fucking cool. Arax was super super awesome, and yeah, they landed, and I thought, oh, there's the big fucker in behind. Shit, we got to deal with this trauma now.
Like, why not just leave and like come back another day? I know you
Yeah,
would have been
I
like made
would've
fun
just,
of
yeah,
when you get back,
leave.
but at least you're alive. Just come
Absolutely.
back when fucking
What do you
Aemon's
mean
not there.
leave?
You see the big
Like, he
fucking
sh-
dragon? Just
He
bounce.
sees Vagar. Who flies Vagar? Oh, the guy that wants my fucking eye. I have no backup.
Yeah.
I have my little dagger here.
But that's the
leaving.
unfortunate thing where I think that's more Rhaenyra's problem because he just thinks, well, because he's a messenger, I'm just gonna be able to say this and go. You know, I think it's his inexperience not to read the situation. He didn't read the room, and that's not his fault.
He
'cause-
didn't read the well.
he did it
actually, no, he
right
did read
as
the
well.
room because he did the right thing, right?
Yeah.
Like he chose to like, hey, I'm the messenger. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
fight you.
But that's why I think him saying I'm the messenger thought like, hey, nothing bad can happen to me. Mom said I took an oath to not get violent and fight at all. So I feel like he just thought, even though Aemon was there, it'll be okay because I'm here as just a messenger. But Aemon
That's
don't give a
fair.
fuck. And again, I still blame Aemon. It doesn't matter that it was like a mistake. It's a mistake because
Oh,
he
it's all
poisoned
Aemon's
him,
fault.
you know?
Yeah, it's
his
all
fault.
Aemon.
Yeah.
Hello,
so
nephew. Creeper.
when you have this whole sequence of him just being like dodging and stuff, I thought, okay, like Arax is like the perfect dragon for this situation because he's small. He can just sneak around and dodge like the attacks or like at least like the unfortunate like swings. He's like the big dragon and Aemon weren't really attacking. He's just being a dick. So when he went and flew in down below into the crevice area, I thought this was great. And yeah, when that whole situation unfolded and like the storm's going, so it totally makes sense. These dragons are just gonna be fucking pissed at each other, and the fire shut out. I did think for a second that it was Lucerys that ordered this, but then yeah, thank God for subtitles because it's like, oh no, like obey me, Arax. It's like, oh, okay,
you,
shit.
Aemon.
Yeah, fuck you, Aemon.
Fireball.
Yeah. So then you have Aemon, who's just
Fireball.
that. It's totally you mentioned Jaws, and that's exactly it. Because yeah, he was up there and he's like, look at this, Arax. Remember this place, and then he just got just from underneath, just absolutely bopped. What a fucking scene! And this is like I did feel for Lucerys a lot, but like I really felt more for the dragon. I hate just seeing the dragons die. Always just hurts me.
Dragon's
hurts my
fault
soul.
though, you know. He
At least
shot
it
with
didn't
fire.
like suffer. Like that was an instant death.
Quick death.
Like there's no way it lived for more than 10 seconds. Like
How do you think?
less than
How do you
that.
think Damon got the news though? You know, like how did just like they find half of?
It's probably flying on
Luke's
his new dragon
head.
nearby. Like, oh fuck,
Well,
Aemon.
did they just find half of Luke's head like on the ground somewhere?
He
and,
probably
like-
was flying up there and saw it and just allowed it to happen because he wants this war to go on.
Oh god.
He has no ties to Lucerys. He doesn't give a
He's
fuck.
just
This guy
with a
dies.
telescope, like, and now I got a reason to kill Aemon too. Yeah,
It's a good question, like how he would have found out. I really don't know, and
it's very fast travel news. Like he was like the same day and stuff. Like I'm not sure
Yeah.
what the Baratheons sent that back. Hey, by the way,
Is
like,
it
we're
Not a
Dragonstone
fucking chance
times.
the Baratheons would. If the Baratheons, like, I feel like they would have to automatically pledge allegiance. Like, I'm sorry, my lord.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we
They
fucked
send a
up.
raven. Just so you know, we're not siding with you, but I think Aemon just fucked up your son
Yeah.
in our airspace. Not in my
remember that in the
hall.
war.
Yeah.
don't kill us.
Our guys saw Lucerys say, fuck you, Aemon. That's how it went down.
Yeah, but I
Um,
guarantee you they might retroactively do that though.
It's possible.
If Baratheons are with him, they might say Luke was the aggressor and he came in all.
Oh,
guns
that's what
blazing.
Aemon's gonna say.
Yeah,
That's
and I
totally
think the
what he's gonna
Baratheons
sell.
might back him up because it
Mm-hmm.
happened. So if it already happened and you're on their side, you just kind of have to go with the
But
law.
what? That they would back him with the fireball thing?
No, with the story, like even with the story, just say that Luke came in very hot-headed. He blah blah blah. Like he was
Oh,
kind of he wanted to fight in the. You could even say in there he wanted to fight Aemon, which
He didn't
everyone's
want
gonna
to
be like,
fight him. He said, "I'm not going to fight
That's
you."
what
I'm
I'm
a
Don't
messenger."
want to
saying.
fight me neither.
That's what I'm saying though. Is Aemon might say, and the Baratheons would say the same thing that he came in like he was no messenger, like he wanted to fight you.
Oh.
That's what I mean. Like they are gonna
Like
the same.
against Aemon.
Yes. No. Yeah. Like okay. Eamon's gonna be like he was aggressor
Get some
maybe in the
visuals so I
sky.
can see this.
Yeah, he's gonna be maybe the aggressor in the sky. But the way when he's like, "Oh, I'm just a messenger, not here to fight," they could spin the story saying, "Oh, that was Eamon." But when Luke showed up, he was very aggressive and he wanted to fight. Like he egged on this situation. He got the drag. Like he got it all going. Eamon was just. They can even say Eamon's fucking defending himself. Like that. Like they could say Eamon left before him and then he left after. Like whatever story Eamon spins, I think the Baratheons are gonna completely back it up and stuff. Because like I said, why would you at that point? Why are you gonna join their side but also be like, yeah, it was Eamon's fault? So like very mixed signals. I think they're just gonna or not deny anything and just.
I don't think the Baratheons are gonna have anything to know like that any of this happened. I think the only thing is gonna be like Aemon spitting that like he came at me with the fire and then I retaliated. Like that'll probably be it.
Yeah.
If anything, or maybe it'll just be an accident. But I don't know. I feel like Aemon is too wanting to go to war and like fuck up these kids to be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it. Like it's just
He's
like,
gonna apologize in a very like.
I took his eye. Here's his eye, mother. And his mother's gonna be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I don't want this kid's eye.
Well, that's what's gonna be interesting though, because I feel like he's gonna try and spin it that way, and that's a scene that I want a direct follow up to. I want, and we're not gonna get it, but I want the Al.
Just never talk about it.
Yeah, just they never talk. Even Rhaenyra never talks about Luke. But like, I wanted that scene where he lands and Allison has to confront him, like, what the fuck happened out there? Because she's the one also trying to not let this war go.
Yeah,
and that's what I do hate about these time jumps. Because yeah, we probably won't get that next episode in season 2. They'll just skip to like 6 weeks or 6 months ahead when the war's begun, and I don't want that because Otto and Allison have held like Aemon in such high regard. I feel like they're gonna look at this and just be like, man, you're so good, but you made a fucking mistake here. Otto not so much because he was fine with the war, but Allison especially, he even said, she said, I don't think no matter, even if she's believing her that vision or whatever what she was told by Viserys of Aegon's gonna be king, she even says, I don't think he also would have wanted or envisioned his daughter and his grandchildren being killed. And that's what happened. His fucking grandchild got killed by a dragon and stuff like that. And I think she's going to know enough. Like, she loves Aemon, but she also knows he is an aggressor. So I think she's going to see through his bullshit. And that's what's going to suck because now this whole war starts because of this. And like I said, I think that would have been a great acted scene. I just don't think we'll get it, unfortunately. So
On the note of Aemon, when he took his little eye patch off and just you got to really like look at his eye, I just thought, holy shit, we're getting Kano.
what is going on with his eye?
It's a good question.
Why is
like
it so blue?
It's Ethereum.
I think he
right?
put
it's tying to Black Adam.
I remember reading he put something
Ternium.
in there.
Okay, the Turnium, yeah. That's what I was thinking. It was like a glass eye or something, but just like that stands out than just more skin. Like you take that off and
It looks sick with like the blue crystal thing, whatever it
yeah.
was.
I don't know
and
why
that's
he
where I
doesn't
was like,
have it on.
is this some random mineral that's really important to them that I have no idea what it is? Like
Yeah.
it seemed like I thought it was just gonna be looking like Viserys with just his like eye gap thing and be like, look what you did to me, but he has a jewel in there, which I don't know. Let's
Keep it off. Show off your jewel eye, you know. But
Yeah.
I was taken aback by that because like, what is going on with his eye? Like, it was like, are they implying this? What happens when you get your eye slashed? It turns crystal blue. Like, what the fuck's going
When you're
on?
Targaryen
Yeah,
or
when you're
Valerian, whatever the fuck he is.
It's just a
Targaryen.
sapphire, I think.
He's Targaryen. Yeah. So he's a Targaryen and a Hightower. That's his bloodline. So he just
Yeah, it looks like it's just, I guess, a sapphire. Maybe they referenced sapphires before in Game of Thrones in like certain parts of the realm. I can't really remember, but yeah, it's just a blue sapphire gemstone.
can't be sanitary either to be in there, you know.
No,
And
I guess
comfortable,
it's to represent his personal
gonna be looking like-
sigil.
It's gonna be looking like Viserys next season.
Jesus, it's supposed to represent as what?
So they in Fire and Blood, each character has their house symbol, but also a personal sigil that represents them in court. A naked woman's sigil represents Aegon, and a spider represents Helena, for example. So there's the spider that we see with Helena when she's like stitching and everything like that. So this is his sigil then. It's the sapphire.
In his eye. Yeah, well, there you go. So, yeah, no, I guess the only thing I had to add is like I was actually 50-50 on Luke was going to die. I didn't know for sure. I thought they might have just like last week, oh, we want to end the finale with something really cool. How about do a dragon fight? And I was like, okay, I could see him still getting away by the skin of his teeth. But yeah, no, war starts. That's how the episode ends. And yeah, it's over now. Now there's going to be just tons of death next year, and I can't wait for the next showdown between Alicent and Rhaenyra. I'm very looking forward to that. I'm just excited by who, because I feel like we know that the Targaryens are going to win this round, so I'm just excited of who goes first, how they go, stuff like that. And now Daemon's going to be unleashed because Rhaenyra is going to be kind of just letting him do his stuff because she's going to be pissed and everything like that. And now, yeah, she, like Kirklin said, she lost 2 children. So now we got the oldest and then the 2 with Daemon. So she's down to, she went from 5 in one day to 3, which is not great, you know, not a good time. Day. So yeah, and all that stuff was good. It was the like good as far as I didn't want to see that happen. But it's funny because I forgot that they had the 2 children already. So I know in Canada they have 2. I'm like, oh, they have to have like 2 more though, even though she lost this baby. I'm like, oh right, no, we already met those 2 children. So this is the last one, I guess. And yeah, terrible stuff going on, and I like that. I feel that obviously Daemon had a lot going on. He was taking the mission charge, but I also feel like he was like suffering from some PTSD between Viserys's wife and his last wife, like pregnancy issues, and I felt like he kind of knew that it was gonna go bad, and that's why he didn't really want to go up there, which is a shitty thing because he's just letting Rhaenyra do it all and stuff. And that's where again, on top of the choke, like this whole episode, I was like, oh, I'm just not as Team Daemon anymore, because even though I get it, you've had these bad instances where you've lost, you know, your stepsister or your sister-in-law, and then you've lost a wife before, but it's just like you gotta get up there and help her. But no, he just left her alone the whole time, and he didn't even really. He was sad because he went to the beach, but I feel like he didn't really comfort her at all about it, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And like that's what leads me to believe that it's not so much a PTSD thing for Daemon. He's just a piece of shit and like saw this as an opportunity to just get a war going. And it's like Rhaenyra is preoccupied, like let's just do this. And like the fact that he didn't go up there and like talk to her at all at any point in this episode about that, like that's so heavy. Like having, I know they've already had 2 kids together, but like this next one that's coming, and just not to have any line there, and he's just. I mean, he like chokes her out in this episode. Like, and
she just lost a baby, and that's
just
what
lost a baby. Did it all by herself while this
Yeah.
guy's like trying to do plans around her back and like just straight up like basically outing her like in front of the entire court and just like questioning her authority, which is not a good thing back in those times. Questioning the hierarchy. So, yeah, I wasn't really. He wasn't winning me over in this episode,
No.
like at all.
The only reason I push back about the potential PTSD is just because we did get a scene where he was upset about losing the child, right? Like he had that beach scene where he was just like by himself. So he clearly was torn up about it a little bit, but not enough to help out Rhaenyra or stuff like that. So we'll see. I'm sure it's going to come out next year when there's some argument between the 2 and stuff like that. And it's just a question of like, who's she going to, I don't know. I just wonder what's going to happen between the 2, you know, like what's going to happen if there's going to be any stepping out of the marriage or stuff like that. So we'll see. So let's take an ad break, and then we're going to be right back with some more House of Dragons. We'll be right back. And we're back with a comment that I have to read. God loves me 69. Kirklin Patsy Poo is my God, yet again guiding me to the honorable death, so I may ascend to the almighty Valhalla. You got to tell Shay to stop using her burner account over there, you know. But
she's working right now. That can't be her.
No, she's not. She's watching
one
the
of
show.
Hers.
Yeah,
one of hers.
Well, I guess let's talk about Rhaenys and
Corlys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Serpent snake. Snake serpent.
Oh no, sorry. I got there's a big news update. So, anyways, go ahead.
What did you want to know about them? Just what
Well,
they're doing?
he's
I
alive.
guess so.
He looks like he's gonna make it. I love that when we go in the meeting, he had like the cane, like Viserys. But yeah, what do you think about he's alive? They had that kind of come to Jesus moment about, hey, I have fucked up like the past 6-8 years, and they threw all their weight behind Rhaenyra.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I wanted a little bit more dialogue, but not even like more dialogue, just like more talking about certain things between him and Rhaenys there. Like, I do think that they had some good dialogue, but I don't think they unraveled all of like the big heavy things that both of them kind of gone through. And I did like how Rhaenys was calling him out of when he was like, oh, like I was just going through stuff. It's just like we were going through stuff. Like we lost like our 2 kids. Our life is a shit. And like I don't think he had seen her for like 6 years, right?
6
like he
years,
just went off to war and just went out to die. And like maybe that's just because he's so done with it all, but like that is very selfish to her. So I did like that she confronted him, but I just feel like maybe I could have enjoyed a little bit different dialogue there, if that makes any sense. But I do love the result of what happened. It was really intense. Of like, Rhaenys was just like, I mean, I feel like after last week's episode, I thought she was already on Rhaenyra's side, like fully. And then they're hinting at some neutrality, and then at the end of the episode, Corlys comes in and says that they're fully on board with her and going to support her and all that stuff. So that's obviously just really exciting because I'm super team Rhaenyra, so I can't wait to go forward next season with all of Rhaenyra's rage going in with how many dragons they have, as well as the Valyrian fleet. Like, they definitely, their strength of power has increased like tenfold, I think, just by having him. So that's really good. And just that court moment of when he was like before he revealed that he was siding with her. It's like, what are you gonna do here? It's just like, no, we can't do this because of XYZ. It's like, wow, remember when I almost died? I fucking did it, boys. And then like I re-garrisoned it all. We're gonna kick their ass. And it was just like a big mic drop moment, it felt. And so that was fun to see for sure.
I was hoping she was gonna throw him a bone and maybe in the future just tell them that their son's not dead. And my hope is that
Yeah,
her
me too.
losing a son she'll go through that damage and be like, man, like now I know what those two went through. Especially they think like family killed. Well, I guess actually Aemon did kill him, but still like she knows now, not so much like the baby. Yes, of course, that is sad. I'm not putting any weight on people that have I know many people like that, but I'm just saying in this situation where someone was murdered, right? It was an act of violence. It wasn't an act of, if you want to say God or health reasons. It was, hey, I had a son, someone fucking killed them. I hope that through this that she will take a moment because they're in the thick of it, and I don't think it would hurt now to be like, okay, just so you know, your son is not like, okay, I don't know if he's alive now, but I did not kill him. We like tell the whole plan and stuff like that, and just give them a little bit. And I feel like they'd be even more so with them. They're already with them because I think they're more with them because they're worried about their actual granddaughters. Because she even said he said like, well, let's go back because I'm the reverse where I think actually all their dialogue worked for me. I liked everything that they were saying as far as this worked for me, their motivations, but everything as far as, hey, let's just go back and take them. And she's like, no, they're already sworn to Rhaenyra's children. It's like, well, they're in the fucking like, and that's where I like for him it was like this idea of shit again, like I've already screwed up because I put them in the situation to be stuck at King's Landing. So I think it's more for the granddaughters, but my hope is I liked everything here. I hope that Rhaenyra does eventually tell them and just like throw him a fucking bone. Let them know that their son is still alive and he just wanted to get the fuck out of there. You know, like at least because they'll probably never see him again, but at least if they know he's out there alive, just fucking having a good time, at least it makes it a little bit easier. And it'll strengthen going into war too because they're already with you. Like, to me, this was they did not have to do this. They could just gone away. Again, I think they're doing it more for the granddaughters, but I liked everything. And I'm actually surprised he made it. I thought he was going to die with how they were talking about him. I thought we won't see him again, but I'm happy we're going to see him, and he's got a bunch of armies now and stuff like that. So anything to add, Taylor?
I just think his reintroduction was fantastic. When they kind of like tiptoed on bringing him up to speed, like, yeah, your brother said these things, and he's just like, oh, fuck, what an idiot. You know, you fucking sealed yourself there. And yeah, he's back and just popping up like, yeah, I had my army seal the stepstones and we did all this shit. And basically we're going to cut off the supply of King's Landing and just fuck them up royally. So I just love that because, I mean, they got to have trade, and ports are great for trade. And I mean, their port's fucked because the Valyrians are like the OGs. They're like the boat keepers, really. So
The boat keepers.
Yeah.
The boat keepers of old Valyria.
Yeah. So I'm just looking forward to seeing what comes out of this because that's huge. And I feel like they definitely you could justify that if Princess Rhaenys burned them all, then that means the war would end it and that
They would have won already.
Lucerys Valerian would have still been alive with Arax. That for sure, that's justified. But then again, I do feel like they also justified her point. Like, hey, Rhaenys didn't want to start war, and the real sway for the Valerians to join up with Rhaenyra was because Rhaenyra was the one who didn't want war, and Rhaenys really, really liked that. And I like that delivery in this. They were saying like, yeah, it's not my war to start and all that jazz. Where Daemon's like, yeah, we need to go to war. You could have killed them.
Everybody wants to go.
Everyone
except
wants
for
it.
her.
But then I think that's great because that's, like I said, that's what pulled the Valerians into joining Rhaenyra, was just her devotion to not have war, and now it's completely out the window. So I think that was a really, really good transition. And yeah, it's unfortunately, I mean, where we are now, it's just unfortunately for our in the show characters, but fortunately for us as viewers, we're just gonna get to indulge in this fucking gloriness.
The gloriness of all these people dying.
boat
and stuff
keepers.
Like that.
I am
keepers.
curious if like we get into next season and you do see King's Landing in like a state of just they're not getting supplies and like morale's just really low because like the boat keepers just completely shut them off. That would be I mean, because then you just have like your own kingdom almost going against the Greens, as we're calling them now, because they just aren't able to get supply.
Well, because
that's part of war, right?
You have that. The only one that wonders is like obviously what's his name, Lars or Laceris, who's the feet guy. What's his name again?
Loris? Lars?
Yeah, whatever he is,
Lars.
feet
Some
guy.
creepy name like that.
He's always like, I always have things like I can do. So like he has like he has things, but like he has something up his sleeve that I think what's gonna happen is next season Rhaenyra and team are gonna be winning, kicking ass, and he and a combination of other things are gonna like take something out of them, because he just always is just like, oh, just let me know when we got to make some big moves. And every time they've needed him to do something, then that night it's done. Like it's over.
That's true, but I feel like it will be questionable. Like you're right. Like next season, there's gonna be some good team ups with him, but it's really gonna be a testament to see what he can do as a character. Because I don't think he was expecting there to be a war. Like I don't think no one was expecting Aemon to just fuck up and kill the prince. So that triggered it.
What I think he can do is get them a win and buy them time for a situation. I don't think he has like a war-winning move. I just mean like he will take out someone close to Rhaenyra. That's my thing. Of like they may do like a like it could be a situation where someone gets kidnapped and he's the guy that has them, like that sort of way. Like he found a way to get one of like the Aegon the Third, like stuff like that. Like I think he's gonna do some move where, hey, we won't kill Aegon or Viserys, like we're not gonna kill him, but you gotta stop this or you gotta give us this. Like that's what I mean. Where he's gonna have one trick up his sleeve where he's gonna do some sort of damage, and then once they get a hold of him, it could be over. But if it's multiple seasons, it can't just win right away. But they did say if they got, obviously they won Baratheons, that didn't happen. But if they got the Starks, they did say that it would like their plan was just to pretty much just like circle King's Landing like from each direction and just fuck them up. I'll be excited to see where the Starks go because I feel like the Starks are going to be neutral because like again when you jump to our timeline in Game of Thrones, like Baratheon makes Stark his hand, right? Like it's that like clearly there's a tie there. So if the Baratheons are tight with the Lannisters, where does it leave the Starks? Even though the Starks have always to me been portrayed like they're trying to be as neutral as possible, still I wonder in this situation where they're gonna go, because that was another person they mentioned as far as, hey, we could cover all these areas if we had Baratheons. Starks. We didn't. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think they'd be loyal to the Targaryens because, like, there's still so much time between the events of like when Game of Thrones happens. Like, what is it, like 2 centuries or something close to that?
True, but
There's like 3 generations, I think.
Yeah.
Still,
Yeah.
so
But I feel like to me with the Lannisters and Baratheons being on one side, you're starting to see those ties happen to me. I'm like starting to see, okay, these are where the bonds form that get them to the point.
But I have like no reason to think why Baratheon and the Starks are close right now. Like
No,
like,
true,
there's
true, yeah.
There was no
true,
evidence of that.
yeah. So maybe season 2 starts with the other son. What's his name?
He's just
Jaharis.
Jace.
Jace, yeah. He arrives at Winterfell, and then Aemon's already there with the big dragon. He's like, cut out your eye, you'll dead.
Just fucks up all of Rhaenyra's sons one by one.
I think it will, because that's my only hope of that episode 2 we're starting with this, but that actually wouldn't be the case. Maybe they can still time
You think
jump,
Aemon's gonna be in Winterfell at the start of next season?
Oh, Aemon, no, I just heard, no, like they have confirmed we're going to Winterfell.
The exact
Yeah.
same scene.
Exact
Like,
scene, yeah.
he arrives on his dragon. Nobody's impressed because fucking Vagar is just there
Covered
already.
in Luke's blood. Hey, Jairus. You haven't heard, have you? Oh. What? Oh, nothing. Don't worry about it. No, I'm excited to go back to Winterfell. I mean, because I'm a Stark guy and stuff, so I'm excited to see this Stark, because they mentioned someone by name that I have no clue and stuff like that. So.
And they said that he was closer in age to Jace than
Yes.
Rhaenyra, so he must be a pretty young king or whatever the hell their title is up there in the Northland. So I'm curious as to what that dynamic is going to be. I hope him and Jace are just like buddy, like right off the bat, and then you just have like a fun character in that regard that's loyal to Rhaenyra. I think that could be lots of fun.
It's gonna go 2 ways of the age thing. I think it's gonna be like buddy or butt heads like right away. But I
Right
hope
away.
for
You
Jace
fuck
he
my
gets
wife?
yeah. I hope for Jace he gets that win and he can kind of be looked upon as like, okay, he could lead us. And
He hasn't had many wins this season. He's just
No.
kind of been there, and guess who was it that took out the eye of
That's what I was
Aemon?
wondering. I think it was
Luke.
Luke. I think it was, right?
Yeah.
Just the way he threw that knife at him and stuff. I always thought it
Right.
was Jace, but no, I think it was Luke. So
Attaboy Luke.
yeah, way to go. You got one win in your life, you know. You always took Aemon's eye, but now when he looks at it, he's like, "Oh fuck, I killed that kid," you know. So, what else? Anything else we haven't touched upon yet?
Otto arrived very boldly, just showed up on Dragonstone. I feel like he's probably the most hated man like out in Dragonstone, more so than Allison, more so than Aegon. Everybody fucking hates Otto. We get a really I just love that like meeting room. It's like if you want to meet them in Dragonstone, you meet them in the middle of this really sketchy bridge, and then a dragon comes out and just like greets you and cuts off your exit, so you're just like totally fucked if this goes as far as it could go, which it almost did. Like Otto wasn't really beating around the bush to try and like be nice. It's just like, hey, you got to bend the knee. And then Daemon was ready to cut his head off right then and there. And again, Rhaenyra was being like the heat sink, just keep making sure everyone's cool and calm, and they'll have the queen will have my answer on the morrow, and rips off his little hand sigil. That was kind of funny.
It's gone. Yeah.
Threw it into the ocean. Yeah. Any thoughts on that scene?
I thought when after that happened, he's like Maester, and I thought he was like he's calling the Maester to go get his hand thing back.
Go get my pin.
Yeah, go get it.
Start swimming, bitch. I like
They
they
side
were
with Rhaenyra.
with the Baratheon guy. They were implying he couldn't read, right? Because
Oh yeah.
because he's
100%.
like, "What does your mom say?" And he's like, "Well, I have the message." And he was like, and he's like, "Can you get the Maester?" And he like read it for him.
He was
so.
illiterate, definitely.
Yeah, so yeah, I liked it. It was like a good callback because they already did this a few episodes ago, right?
Yeah.
Remember they met there, so that was good. And yeah, I very much, I don't know about everybody, but I very much, you know, with Daemon, I don't know how I feel about him going forward as like a likable character, but I very much do want Daemon to be the one to kill Otto because they've never liked each other, and he's always like called him a leech and all this stuff. So I'd very much like it if Daemon got to be the one to take out Otto, but knowing this show will be the fucking other way around, and Otto will find a way to take out Daemon, and then
Like
we'll go.
actually.
Yeah, like he's like a great swordsman. He just that's why Aim and all the kids are so good because Otto's just in the court.
He kills him like the mountain, just like squishes his head in.
He can move like the Viper too, though. He's like spinning around like fuck.
We've never
Otto.
like seen his torso. It's always been like big robes, but he just takes it off and he's just
Ripped like an
fucking
MMA fighter.
shredded. Yeah, ripped like an MMA fighter.
That scene where they were just meeting up on that bridge, yeah, classic sequence. But it's funny because you really start to see the unhinged Daemon here. Like he was just throwing in shade. Like let's just
He's
cut
ready
off
to
your
cut his
head
head
and
off.
everything.
He's
right
walking
there.
He
back
was
and
ready.
forth, like
Yeah.
pacing too.
He was just so antsy. And so when Otto hands that piece of little tapestry parchment to Rhaenyra, and just it's a quick cut scene because Damon's like, "Fuck's this!" It's just so good. He's just triggered. He's absolutely triggered.
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's. That's what's interesting with Daemon. We'll have to see. I don't even know if it's so much that he's emotionally compromised or he just hates that right now he's not on the losing side, but he kind of is, right? Like he's in the side that doesn't have the advantage, not the power. So he's like a very vulnerable situation. He's not on the. He feels like he was supposed to be owed, or his wife was supposed to be owed this thing, and they didn't get it. So he feels completely screwed over. So I feel like it's almost that too, like a pride thing of the fact that he's even getting some piece of paper to be like, oh, if you just bend the knee, we'll work this all out. Like that was also bold of Otto. Like Otto, I feel like he's kind of on purpose shitting, like, because he was wanting to kill them, right? He was like, it has to be done, sacrifice has to be made. I feel like he's on purpose giving them some bad offers, because when he's like, oh, they could be the cup holders, it's like, that can't be a fucking thing you're going to offer them. Even Damon's like, I'd rather my sons be burned alive by dragons than be holding cups and chalices and stuff. It's like, yeah, that wasn't a great offer. Like, oh, they'll be in the court, and there'll be the royal cup holder, whatever it was. It was like, no, they're not going to go for this, and now they're not. So
yeah, especially Daemon. I mean, he shot it down right away, just speaking for Rhaenyra there.
Yeah. Oh, he kept speaking up for her, and then Aemon screwed that up. So it's bad. So
so after, or I guess before that scene, at this point, but we got that really sweet like swearing in ceremony sort of thing with the the Kingsguard that are like swearing to the new
Eric
queen.
showed up with the crowd.
And then Eric showed up with the crown, and that was like again, like the setting there was gorgeous, like on the cliffside, and visually everything looked just fucking phenomenal. So the budget of the show is just it's fantastic. It looks so good. And then that moment when he did we see when he like if he stole the crown last week? That was a surprise to me that he had it here.
I don't
Like, did you see him
remember
take it?
seeing that.
Yeah.
No.
So he reveals that, and then Damon takes it and crowns Rhaenyra, and that was just such an amazing scene in my eyes. That was one of my favorite of this entire show. Honestly, it was just such a big, powerful moment of like Rhaenyra having the the weight of the crown, literally like from her father's head, like on hers now, and it's just like obviously it's not in front of the entire kingdom, but she is the queen now, like really in my eyes at least, and in Viserys' eyes, wherever the hell he is. Hopefully not in hell. But it was just
He just watched this all go down. No, my family. Oh.
my family.
He looks over. Luke gets teleported down there. He's like, "What did you do?" He's like, "I fucked in a wedlock."
Why is Luke in hell?
Yeah, he did something.
But yeah, no, that scene was awesome. It was so great.
Yeah. I don't have much more to add.
that's
Yeah, no, all good. Yeah.
I think I don't have anything else either.
Yeah.
We've done it. We've gone through the finale and stuff like that. Because like that's the thing, big things happen, but they were in spurts and stuff like that. It was very much just this one thing.
And
I will say I'm surprised how like Eric's just fucking super loyal. Like now he's like I'm not gonna like he's
And his brother, is just like
There was a good tension on that bridge
with
between the
Alicent.
two of them, like looking.
Oh, he
back at
was
each
there.
other.
Okay, I didn't see him.
He was
Was he
behind
there?
Otto. Yeah, the brother was behind Otto.
They really
and
don't
then
show the camera on him well.
I don't know if you're right about that, Taylor. I don't
The
think
two
he was
brothers?
there. The one brother was there.
Yeah, the other brother. They kept cutting back and forth multiple times to showcase like the emphasis on this because they were staring at each other.
Well, I'm excited for
So-
that fight then. I'm excited for the brother versus brother scenario and stuff like that. But he was just a big Viserys fan, you know? I think it's more he just like doesn't want to turn against he doesn't want to be a part of a rebellion and stuff. But it's I like that. It's a good character trait where I like this character that meant nothing to me a couple weeks ago, or now it's like okay, I like how loyal he is. You know, he's gonna die for her, and hopefully he doesn't fuck her, but it could happen.
Could happen.
We need to see some Christian Cole. Didn't get any in this episode.
Thank
We
God.
need to see
He's got a
Christ.
big role in season 2, I imagine. So
He might.
Better just opening shot, his head's on a spike. Damon's like flying through the air with that. They just kill him off screen. That'd be anticlimactic. I do want to see him on screen.
Yeah.
Give him. Otto gets pissed off at him, finds out he's fucking Alicent,
Go get my
squeezes his head
fucking
like the
pin.
mount.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah, they
get my
fight.
fucking pin.
I'll see you in the yard. He just fucks up Cole.
Just with his fist.
Yeah.
Beats the shit
All
out
right,
of him.
Maester, blindfold me. It's like, man, I thought it was badass.
Rip like an MMA fighter.
Yeah, like a main fighter. He like takes on dragons by himself. Like he's just like choke slamming them in the water. This is the best you got. He spits fire as well.
I guess it's worth mentioning too that because I don't really know where. I'm imagining it's in Dragonstone, but Daemon went and bonded with a new dragon, right?
Yes.
So because he mentioned there were 2 untamed ones on Dragonstone, I think 2 or 3. Maybe it was 3. In total, there were 14 dragons they had access to. Now 13 minus the one Arax, but against the 3 I think it was that King's Landing had. So yeah, there you go.
I don't know if this is for sure, but I'm pretty sure I saw on Twitter that this dragon that he went after is the one, the king. I can't remember his name, but the king that crowned Viserys. Like he chose him to go next, and I'm pretty sure they've said this is dragon's bigger than Aemon's dragon as well. So
Ooh.
yeah.
So he's a bigger dragon.
But I did. There's always big dragon. But I did like the line of what happens when dragons fight dragons. Everything goes on fire. So it's just, like they're one. That's like like it's cool and like sounding like dragon like 13 of our dragons through theirs, but it's kind of like the break glass. Like that's what they want to avoid the most and stuff like that, which I think it's gonna happen. But
And like she even was like speaking against that for like basically what we saw Dany do at the end of Game of Thrones, right? Where she just burns King's Landing. She's like,
Yes.
I don't want to have to do that. But that was also before she heard the news of Luke dying.
oh yeah,
Like we've seen Game of Thrones, King's Landing is still standing, so she doesn't raise the entire city. But I mean, she can definitely do damage with some flames, and it just heal up in the next 2 centuries or whatever.
yeah. Well, should we give our final thoughts on the season, rate and everything like that?
Give it.
Kirk and Patzer, go ahead. What do you rate this season?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give. It's tough because like in the moment, going from those big time skips, those were really like the lowest part for me, where I just felt like I was losing so much like connection with like a moment that was happening in the show, just because we just had to jump 5 years and like we can't cover everything in that time. I really wish they took the time to just space out that stuff and we got some more younger Rhaenyra stuff, and then maybe we could have had a whole season of like Emma Darcy's Rhaenyra, like actually handling these events and spread it throughout a whole season. That being said, maybe it would have been really boring and like not as good as I imagined. So who knows? It's tough to predict what that would look like, but still, I don't love it. I really hope the rumors are true that going forward, like the time skips are a lot less or not at all from some of the word that I've heard on just the webs or whoever the hell said that. So I'm optimistic going forward, and like I said in the non-spoilers, like it's just crazy that the show totally reignited like that Game of Thrones love in my heart, and I was someone that was very deflated at season 8, so I was totally ready to just like wipe my hands clean of Game of Thrones and Westeros and like this world, and no, I'm totally back and happy about it. So I was just, yeah, I was having such a blast, like talking about it week to week with you guys. Like Travis mentioned, like this is definitely a show that you don't want to miss. I feel like it's just such a talking point. Like even like at school, like there's some kids in my class that are like watching it. It's just fun, like talking about a show like that. Because I remember doing that in Game of Thrones at like my first job. So it's just crazy that longevity that this world has. So I think I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10, and it's higher than I thought I was gonna give it, just because I was really down on those time skips. But the actual like drama and like moments that happened in the show was just some of the best Game of Thrones content I've ever seen, like including the Game of Thrones, like the golden era of that show. So yeah, just like that one that one episode when everybody had blades at each other's throat, that was just so intense and had me at the edge of my seat, and I'm wanting more of that going forward next season.
Yeah. I'll go next because I don't know about Taylor, but I know where my score is. Mine's the exact same. It's a 9 out of 10. I think my only issue is the time skips, as far as not that I don't understand what's going on. I can infer and go, okay. It's just that I think there's stuff that was missing on the table. There's things that they could have got even a little bit more mileage of, but I always felt that they were kind of on fast forward. And I get it because it almost feels like they want to get to this war part, but there's so much stuff. Like I said, there's a full conversation between Viserys and Daemon and who am I missing there? Rhaenyra, that we didn't get to see, and I think that's gonna happen with this year, and even some of the kids and stuff like Molly Alcock and all this stuff, like all these things where there's lots of great stuff that I think you could have spread out even more. Now, it did lead to a great show and a great season. I think there's some stuff too, like obviously like with Renus, okay, some good points, but I still didn't really like last week's ending. It felt a little forced to me. So it's not a perfect season of TV, but it's a damn good one. And yeah, I was surprised because I remember Taylor said he was going to be reviewing this, and he talked to Kirklin. I was like, yeah, I might jump on for the debut, and that might be about it, because I thought I was going to watch it, and if I liked it enough, I'd watch it when it was all done and maybe binge it and everything like that. But no, the show just kept getting better and better, and even episode 1, it was a good episode 1, but it wasn't like, man, I can't wait for next week. But it's become must-see TV, and I'm happy Game of Thrones is back in that way, and that does at least get me a little hopeful for, I don't think we can have this same level amount, but if like the Jon Snow show happens and something that it shows that, okay, obviously we've seen this with many franchises before, right, where a bad ending happens, but then you can get great stuff down the line. But this was Game of Thrones' first time at it, and I think they did a great job, and I think season 2 is going to be, no pun intended, just fire. I think we're going to get a lot of juice, and I'm very excited. It's probably not going to be till like 2024, unfortunately, but I'm pretty excited for when that gets back. So
yeah. When it happens.
Holy shit, I'm gonna come.
When I get the date announcement, that's what's going to be happening, yeah. Taylor.
So, like, I love Game of Thrones so very, very much. And I think I'm one of the few that kind of stands on that island of season 8 not being that bad. Like, the finale is definitely not what I would have wanted. I definitely would have spun it a different way, like I'm sure many people would, but I'm definitely not hating on it overall as hard as other people are. So when we got House of the Dragon that was announced, I thought, okay, this is going to be kind of cool. We're going to be spacing out by a few hundred years and getting new characters that we haven't seen before yet, and some new storylines too that I'm not familiar with because I haven't read the books. I was all for that, but was I super, super excited? Not really. I didn't have that huge pull that was drawing me in yet. Even when I saw like set photos of the characters, I thought it was cool and it was kind of like intriguing, but it wasn't enough to really get me super, super jazzed. When that first episode dropped and I finally like got to it, because I thought, yeah, I definitely do want to review this, because Game of Thrones does have a pretty good reputation overall. First episode dropped and it blew my mind out of the water. I was hooked. The time skips, while yes, there is a lot more we could have explored during those periods of time, a lot more development too, and just probably really crazy moments, I just tell myself, okay, well, they chose to fast forward that and just focus on the moments where there was actual stuff happening at this time during a relatively peaceful time in the realm. That's how at least I had canon it. So every single episode we got having these high intense moments occurring was just feeding me just exactly what I wanted. So when we got to this finale now, it just totally stole it stole everything that I like in a great way. Like it's
Everything I
just stole
own.
everything. Yeah, everything.
gone.
I put all my money on this.
Took my house.
Yeah.
Yes,
So-
it's gone.
So I think this is legit my number one show right now, and it's one of my favorite shows in a while. I rewatched this show. I've rewatched this season up until now like twice, and I'm probably gonna at some point get around to watching this.
What does that mean?
I've
That's what we
rewatched
were
the
waiting for him.
episodes.
He rewatched this episode twice.
Yeah.
That's why we started later. Yeah, I'm almost done.
Yeah, but this is definitely a 10 out of 10 series. I feel like for the most part, fans of Game of Thrones will get on board with this and watch it and enjoy it, because it captures a lot of what the pre-season, like, I go as far as like 6, but like 7 and 8 kind of stuff. I'm mostly 8, like that earlier stuff where you get the more political, the drama, and just the seediness of deception, and they throw in just these cringy moments of awkward sexual practices or just murder,
practices.
and it's
King will see you
it's
now.
classic
Yeah.
Game of Thrones to its finest, to a T. Just the Game of Thrones that I'm familiar with. And yeah, with all these different storylines that they've not wrapped up right now, I just can't wait to get into it. It's going to be fantastic come season 2. I cannot wait. So yeah, this is a great show, and I'm truly sad that it's ended. I was just watching this finale. I was just thinking like, fuck, they got to release like a secret episode 11, please. Come on, HBO. But no, we're just being fucked. So
We're not being fucked. We're at least getting more.
Fuck
like,
you, HBO.
Yeah, like we're getting more. Like that's
Fuck
better
you,
than some MCU stuff. Where like I don't know if we're getting more and stuff like that. Like we got a season 2 confirmed. We're all good, So chill. So. Yeah, so that's it. We've done it. We will be back whenever we get Game of Thrones, House of Dragon season 2. We'll be there covering it weekly and the breakdown and stuff like that. So we promise when you hear from us next, it'll not be boring.
Bye-bye.